what's up, Dave?
Dave, how you doing over there in PA?
I'm doing good. It's just another day here. We're in February. Seems like not that long ago we were chatting before. So, yeah, here we are. How you doing?
It's like a blink, man, a blink. And we've had some weather between then and now, and looks like you're going to get some more snow, right?
Yeah, as of right now, it's looking like I'm going to be getting about 8 inches overnight. So, I think we're going to be getting some stuff. So not too bad. It originally was going to be like 14, but now it's at 18. So,
we had a stretch. I don't know how many people paid attention to our stretch because, most of us focus on our own microclimate. But about a week or so ago, we had 4 or 5 days of 50 or higher. It was, oh my gosh. I mean, bonsai fever hit, Dave, in such a hard way. And then this morning it was 7 above when we woke up. So,
we had a little bit of that as well. Like I had some trees actually start to wake up. A couple of the ones here I got behind me started waking up. Did you have any of those issues where like you get a little bit of a false spring?
Nothing outside on my few trees outside my porch, but I have to say up at Bonsai Acres, my big cold frame up there, I was up watering the trees last weekend. This was last weekend in the cold frame, hovering at 35 to 40 for the last 3 months. And lo and behold, there was a tree in there that was like, oh my gosh, there looks to be just a little bit of swell. And I'm like, no, we can't do this yet. There's no way I'm bonsai shuffling with 9 client trees over 45 trees. There are no shuffling going on up there, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh. It's that's Mother Nature for you, right?
Oh, no kidding. We have absolutely no control, right?
Exactly. But you know what we do have control over? We have a guest here today.
Darn right we do.
And if you're ready, I think I'm ready to bring on the one and only.
Let's do it.
Billy the Bald Yeti.
Billy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
How's it going, Billy? How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad, thank you.
I'm glad you're still bald because we introduced you as the Bald Yeti, so that's really good to see.
I don't think that's changing in this lifetime.
The hairy Yeti, is that going to be like the next season here?
Man. His hair just grows down; it doesn't grow up. So
gotcha.
It's doing more of a. I feel like it's kind of a migration where it's all kind of moving south. If you know what I mean.
I get it. How's everything going up there? You staying warm?
Warm being a relative term, but yeah, for the most part, we're hovering right around 0 degrees Fahrenheit, so -30, whatever that is for Celsius. Hovering right around there for the most part in the mornings and in the evenings. So, but we are getting some sunshine. There's been some blue skies lately, so and the sun's actually high enough to get through the windows now. So I got a lot of trees in my Arctic that have actually started budding out, and got me a little bit scared because we still usually get some pretty cold temperatures at the end of February and through mid-March. So hopefully it doesn't get too cold so that room stays warm enough to keep them going.
Yeah,
that's
early, man. This is early. It's only February, man.
For sure,
man. So yeah. What's going on? So what are you working on these days? What type of trees are you working on?
Well, this time of year, there's not too many trees to work on. Like I said, they're all still pretty dormant. So I haven't really been doing too much work. I've been trying to keep my tropicals and my Mediterraneans alive, and the citrus alive. I think I lost my grapefruit tree. Mostly fighting bugs and whatnot is the biggest issue that I get during the winter. It's probably me. I'm sure that I could be doing a better job. I probably should give them showers like every 3 days instead of every 3 weeks. But it seems like those bugs come back. And this last year and a half, I've had I got introduced to what do you call those little mites spider mites? There. What do you call the mites that build spider webs? Spider mites. I've got an infestation of spider mites in the last year and a half, and then they're either woolly aphids or there's another name for them as well that I've been fighting as well. And those ones seem to like to hide in the bark. So if you have to peel the bark away, it kind of destroys some of the effect of the tree to try to get to the bugs. But you got to peel the bark away to get to the bugs. So I've been struggling with those a little bit this winter.
What do you do to take care of those said pests there, Billy?
I pretty much follow Nigel's recipe. For the most part, it's just 1 tablespoon of dish soap, and I use just Dawn dish soap for the most part.
Yeah.
I've also tried that cast iron soap, but I don't know if there's much of a difference. But I usually use a tablespoon of that to a spray bottle of water, and then I also try to use neem oil too sometimes. But man, that neem oil stinks, so I try not to use neem oil if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Cool. What type of environment?
I'm sorry. There's been a lot of talk about using Windex and stuff like that, and I haven't quite tried that yet. I know Marisol's been talking about that quite a bit, using the Windex. I'm going to give it a shot. If this latest treatment that I have right now doesn't work, I'll probably give that Windex a shot too.
I was going to say, what type of environments do you have like all your tropicals in? Because I can't imagine it's super easy to maintain them. I assume you have somewhere in your house, you have them all. Do you have them in like a little tent, or do you have them open?
Yeah, right. That's my grow tent.
Oh, okay.
And if I keep going that way, there's another. Well, I'm getting too far. You can see there's another grow tent right next to it there, just in the back. I get my finger. That's the other grow tent right there. That's a 6 foot tall one. This is a 4.5 foot tall one, 4x8, and those are the main two places I keep my tropicals and my Mediterraneans.
Now, do you keep them on a timer and stuff, or or do you physically turn on the lights and stuff every day?
Oh gosh, I could not remember to turn the lights off and on every day. I tried that for like 3 weeks, and then next thing I know, I burned a lot of my tropicals by trying that. So I went directly to the hardware store and got myself some timers.
Yeah. It's nice to have things that are, one, easy to get to, easy to care for, and the ease. Ease is everything. So if you can have some things done for you, like the timer, man, it really can be a game changer, because it's just one less thing you have to think about, right?
For sure. Now, I haven't quite invested in those automatic timers, Dave. Well, I say Dave, I'm talking to both of you. DW, I'm not quite as advanced with some of those automatic timers with the waterings and all the temperature control stuff. I do like the name of that Balder one, just because bald. But
yeah, that's right.
But I'm not quite as automated as that. But I definitely like the timers for the lights at least.
Yeah, and the thing with the automatic stuff too, you really the challenge with them is you still have to keep an eye on them, and sometimes they go down. And I had a nervous time with Bonsai Acres, all of a sudden showing that my Wi-Fi went out, and so then I have to determine, did my Wi-Fi go out because the power went out, and I only have a solar generator to get me through until I get up there again, or is it just that the hotspot for my internet connection, just the hotspot went out, and I went up there, and as soon as I open up the cold frame, I know instantly if it's warm, if it feels warmer than outside, I'm in good shape. And lo and behold, it was just the hotspot that went out. But you can never trust the technology completely. So anybody who's new into bonsai, or those who experienced would probably know this, is that you really have to, you got to pay attention to your trees all the time, right? And you just can't completely trust that technology. Boy, when it works and you have some set up, it can really be a good thing.
Well, to answer that question, I just saw on the screen there, have I tried ladybugs? I did try ladybugs. Ladybugs did a pretty good job of keeping aphids down a couple of years ago. What I figured out though, I don't know how Toy, what's his first name, Mike. Mike, I don't know how he keeps his ladybugs alive all year. I got to build a habitat inside the grow tent, and I looked up how to build a habitat. You just got to get a little sugar water and some shade and some straw, and that'll build a little habitat for them to keep them alive for much longer. But I did try ladybugs, but the main thing I was doing was just sweeping up dead carcasses out of my grow tent for the next several weeks, and there was only a couple left. But they did help with the aphids. I just haven't tried it again for the spider mites and the whatever you call the other one.
Gotcha. Now, would you say oh, go ahead.
Woolly aphids. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I was just gonna say, would you say that you favor the tropicals versus the deciduous or conifers? So I know, like a lot of the videos I've seen, like you have lots of tropicals up there.
That's a fair question. When I first started, I got mostly into the tropicals because they're such rapid growers, and the learning curve is very fast, right? So you can make a lot of mistakes, and they're very forgiving plants. But that's when I kind of had more of a quantity over quality. And now I've kind of, with some things changing in my life, I'm kind of going a little bit more towards quality over quantity. And I'm staying away from the tropicals because they do take a lot of attention to stay up on. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out a little bit more of the evergreens and whatnot. But I just have an issue because not everything can stay outside. So even though that might be, I live in a zone 4. Sometimes I get down, like once every 10 years, I get down to a zone 3. But for the most part, I live in a zone 4. But even zone 4 trees don't necessarily survive, because not always how cold it gets, it's how long it stays cold that can really make a difference. And so even zone 4 trees don't necessarily survive here. So it can get kind of expensive when you have to buy them and ship them up here. So I've slowed down on some of them. Trying a few things out. I'm getting a little bit more into the. I got a couple of junipers that I got going here, seeing how they do. So yeah, I'm kind of going away from the tropicals a little bit. I got a couple that I really like, but for the most part, I'm sticking towards my, like right back here is my olive tree, is one of my favorites. I got these dwarf pomegranates right here that are some of my favorites as well. Those are a lot of fun for me in the wintertime to keep alive. Tiger bark ficus. I still got my original ficus benjamina, which I enjoy. It slowed down quite a bit these last 2 years here, but so I do still like the tropicals, but I'm kind of leaning more towards some of the evergreens and some of the more slower growing deciduous, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Like, I'm finding myself in the same vein. Like I know when I started, I was just germinating a lot of seeds of like apples or lemons or whatever I can get my hands on. A lot of tropicals. And the longer that I've been doing this, I'm like, man, these tropicals, they don't like being in my climate here. So I'm starting to favor the more deciduous types these days. How about you, Dave? Like, do you find that as well, or like?
I think I think like anything else in life, I mean, bonsai is no different. It really ebbs and flows, and it has for me too. I have a couple of cool tropicals that I still really, really like and hope take off. But like, I think like Billy, I would like to specialize more, now that I'm, doing my bonsai acre stuff and all that, and a little bit more of the native trees, right? I think, a lot of us have trouble growing trees that don't come from this climate. And, Nigel does an amazing job with his tropicals, but it's a lot of work, right? And Bald Yeti trying to keep them alive, even me trying to keep them alive in the upper Midwest. I mean, it just shorter growing seasons. It can be challenging. So I'm looking forward to really digging into a lot more time spent with some of the conifers. So whether it's juniper, not always my favorite, but of course it's a workshop tree I work with MBS a lot. The larches, I have my property up north is right next to a larch bog. I mean, I drive through larch bogs to get to my place, and it's like I just really want to dive into larch, and there's a few spruces out there that I'd love to tackle. And yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards conifers myself as time goes by, but the tropicals, some of them are pretty darn cool, and if you can wait it out and be patient and get there someday, you won't just have sticks and pots. Yeah, I look forward to some of those tropicals being something pretty spectacular. One of my free bonsai I didn't pay a dime for was that hand-me-down 40-year-old ficus that I'm working on, right? I've had it for a few years, so it's pushing 44, 45 years old. In a few years, I'll be able to see it's a 50-year-old tree, and it'll start looking like a kind of a nicer, more ramified tree, and that's pretty exciting to have that in my collection.
Absolutely. Billy, I got a question for you. So you're up in Alaska, and even where I'm at in Pennsylvania, I have trouble finding places that sell bonsai trees. Like, do you have any type of, do you just rely on like nursery stock, or like how do you get your trees?
For the most part, it's nursery stock. I started doing there's a place called Ken's Greenhouse out in Wasilla. Not that you guys know what that means, but just a little bit north up here, there's a place called Ken's Greenhouse. And I started doing workshops for them. It's kind of a funny story. I went to them and asked them, hey, do you guys, because I saw they started selling some bonsai stuff, like some just different pots. They were kind of cheaper pots and whatnot, and a few very rudimentary tools. And so I asked them, I said, do you guys do any workshops or anything like that? And I said, would you mind if I did some workshops? And I was talking to the boss lady, and she says, well, we couldn't afford to pay you or anything like that, so I don't know if we could actually swing anything like that. I said, lady, if you let me just keep the tree that I work on, that's more than enough payment for me. It's going to be that much fun for me that I would just enjoy just doing it. And so she said, absolutely. So I've been doing workshops up there. So sometimes they order different tropicals. They get me on the horn every once in a while and say, would this tree work as a bonsai? Would this tree work as a bonsai? What's the success rate with this one? And so I kind of give my 2 cents about what I do know and what I don't know just from my own research and experience. So I get some trees that way, but a lot of trees I have to order and get them shipped up here, and I have to time the shipping, right? So because where it's spring and everywhere else, it's still winter here. So if the trees are already budding out and they're trying to ship them up here, they're real close to budding out. Then they come up here in the mail and they get frozen again. That could kill some of them. So I got to time the shipping. Eric at Bonsai, I got a few trees from him recently, and also Left Coast Bonsai. I think he started a channel actually just recently.
Yeah.
I got a few trees from him as well. I got a Chinese quince from him and some. This is my last attempt that I'm trying with maples. I got some trident. There it is, trident maples from him. I got some whips last and grew them out and overwintered them inside and seeing what they can do. Both the trident maples and the Chinese quince are actually started to bud out, so I had to take them out of my Arctic winterway and put them in the sliding glass door.
Yeah,
man. Do you have like a club or anything up there as well, or is there any club?
There's a bonsai study group, but they meet at the same time that I have my kids, and I'm not going to put my kids sit there while I talk about trees with a bunch of old men. So, yeah, there's a bonsai study group. I became pretty good friends with a lot of the people there. The president of the bonsai study group, he and I are friends. He's actually helped me on a couple of those bonsai workshops as well.
very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
I don't know if everybody on this channel knows or has seen your work, Billy, but one of the things I wanted to give you a shout out for, and because bonsai takes patience, but doing YouTube the way you've done YouTube a lot also takes a lot of patience. If you've not seen Billy's stuff, go watch a couple of his episodes. And I think, I mean, I'd love to show, and Billy, I probably sent this to you on a private message, but when you do well, it's kind of time lapse in a way, but when you do a year in the life of a tree, or sometimes longer, maybe sometimes a little shorter, it's really cool. Some of your videos, how you'll show some of these major chops or even minor chops, and then you come back a month later, and the tagline that'll stick with me forever. Back when I got more to show you, and when you have more to show us, it's so cool. It's so cool what you can do to a tree. And if you're new and a beginner and afraid to make cuts, that kind of patience to make a video, I just wanted to shout you out and say how cool that is. I still enjoy that style. What made you make videos that way? And are you getting away from it? Do you want to keep doing that? How did that all come about for you in the YouTube world?
That's a good question. When I was watching other people's videos, because I started out like almost everybody else here, it was Peter Chan and Nigel Saunders, right? Those are the two people I first started watching, and then COVID hit and everybody started making channels, and there was a whole lot more of them out there. But you had to go back through playlists to try to figure out, hey, what was the one, what did it look like before this, what did it look like before this?
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily have the knowledge base or really wanted to spend 30 minutes on a video showing how I'm doing a root pruning or how I'm doing my trims. There's a lot of other videos that do a much better job teaching people how to do that stuff. Sure. So I just kind of let you know what I'm doing to the tree, and then I want to show you what happens to the tree afterwards. So it was more of instead of having to go through playlists to figure out, okay, he trimmed it in October, and then you have to look for the next video that came out in April of the next year, and then June of the next year, and then, just trying to keep up with the trees, and that's if they organize their playlists too, right?
Yeah.
So that was frustration for me, and I didn't want my channels to be like that, because, and I think Xavier said something about this as well, as the video blogs are almost as much for me as they are for the audience. So it helps me to keep track. Okay, that's when I trimmed that one last. That's when I did this. That's when I did that.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of keep a running blog of that. Blog, is that the right vlog? Doesn't matter. Whatever the word is, keep a running tally of that, so I can kind of keep up with my stuff there.
Absolutely.
Now you've noticed I haven't posted in quite a while, and that's there's been a lot of seasons happening in my life over the last 2.5 years right now, and just keeping up with I've got a lot of footage, but I have not had the opportunity. Well, excuse me, I have not made the opportunity to put it all together and make videos again. So I may have some videos that come out. They're going to show end chapters, because I teach each mine's the chapter, right?
Yep.
So it might be the end of that story, because there's a lot of trees that have died off on me. And then starting some new ones here, but they might be a little bit more than just 12 months. They might be like a year and a half, 2 years before they get the next video.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, and I'll try to keep them condensed because I like them to be no longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe there's quality in those videos that are 35 minutes and 45 minutes long, but for me, like, I can barely ever find enough time to keep up with some of the videos that I really like to watch, because if they're all 30 minutes and whatnot, then it really eats into what little free time I do have. So
Right.
I try to keep mine to 15. That way, if someone just has a bathroom break and they're sitting down on the porcelain throne, and they want to watch my video at 2 times the speed, that's about the time they need to watch it.
And the average time it takes the adult to go to the bathroom, you get to watch in double time Bald Yeti work on a tree.
There you go.
That's a
You
great
brought up a good yeah. You brought up a great
That's
point.
where I
Like,
got the insight from.
Yeah.
you know, I think no, I was just gonna say you brought up a good point, because like I also have kids and family and work, and with bonsai, it's all about balance. Trying to figure out, if you're gonna be able to work on trees, if you're gonna be able to edit your videos and stuff. So it's all in due time, right? It's all about patience. So
patience and balance. I probably said that on my channel once or twice myself, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. And people have too on the channel. Without the balance, I think we can lose sight of a lot of things. And but there's also a part that I like to promote. And we all would love people to watch our channel. And again, like Billy said, I do it to keep track of my own trees, and I do this to bring community together, which is why we're on this chat right now and talking live, because we just love it so much. But part of the balance too, though, I always remind people, or I'd like to remind people, is that, time with your bonsai is part of that balance, right? And for me, editing and putting together a story to share with my bonsai community is part of my balance. Because if I don't have that, like Billy said, the last couple of years of my life, I've gone through some things too in the personal world that kind of shift some things and priorities or challenges or whatever's out there for people on their plate. It's the bonsai and this very community that really keeps me together and binds me together and keeps me going. So I don't think you should dump it either. It's just like you said, finding that time to put it in there so you have that balance.
Amen.
Absolutely. So what's on the horizon for you? Do you have any type of 2026 goals with your bonsai this year?
Yeah. So one tree that I'm really getting into, and I've been trying to think of the name of it for the longest time, but it's that really fine-leafed juniper. I got mine right here. It's heavy because it's still frozen down here. I just buried it, dug it out, so you can still see the snow in the pot here.
Cool.
The wooden box there. I'm really looking forward to working on this one this year. I bought it last year. I got this one from Bonsai with Eric over there. Eric over there at Bonsai, I should say. And it was a much smaller whip than this, but it really took off. It seemed to love my summer up here. So I'm really looking forward to working with this one. One thing that I kind of see with this one here is I haven't touched it at all. I haven't taken anything off of it. So you can see the whole thing there. It looks kind of a mess right now, and it is. But one thing I noticed with this one is that it's very reminiscent of a very tiny spruce tree, and that's what we have a lot of up here, right? We have a lot of the white and the black spruce. Yeah. And so it's very reminiscent of that. And what I'd like to do is, a lot of times the spruce will grow right at the edge of the permafrost bogs and whatnot. And and they also grow like we have these big rock walls, mountains that they'll grow like right up against that. And then you can see on the ledges, they'll be growing off those ledges. So I've been studying some of Chris Marshall and seeing how he's doing some of his penjings. And boy, I'd love to get some of these things rooted here and try to do a penjing where it looks like it's up against one of those rock faces, and just have a whole bunch of trees growing, either a couple of them up on top of it into the rock wall and the whole forest right below it. So that's one thing that's on my horizon. I've also got some yard trees. Someone put the word out, Nowaki. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Nowaki. Nate brought it up. Where you basically do the yard trees. And I've already got a couple of apple trees that I started that I'm using Espalier style to try to grow those. But I've got some Austrian pines that I want to grow into that Milwaukee style, where it's basically you prune it like a bonsai, but it's a yard-sized tree, and you kind of keep it somewhat small. No taller than 4 to 5 feet, maybe 6 feet tall at the most. So it looks pretty cool in the yard as well.
That's awesome.
Nate.
Oh, Nate wants to know, when are you going to Washington State, Billy?
So I actually grew up in Nate's backyard. So where he works at a Land and Gardens there. That's in Bremerton. I grew up in Port Orchard, just stone's throw, a little 2 stone throws away from where Land and Gardens is at. So I don't have any family there anymore, so I don't really have much of a reason to go down there other than just to go down there. So I don't know when or if I'm going to head back down that way.
Gotcha.
I was just talking to Nate earlier. I just watched the Land and Garden interview with Mr. Robinson and Ryan Neal. It's like 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's a really cool interview, and I love how he talks about doing his thing. And he ruffled a few feathers in bonsai over the years, and I didn't know that much history about him. And I'm going to go visit Nate. Nate, can't wait to come out and see you. I'm heading out to Washington in the end of March, and Nate and I are going to hang for a couple of days. And I get to go out there and interview. I get to go and interview that man. I'm so excited because of what he said in that interview. And I love that he blazed his own trail. And, there's something for everybody in bonsai. And he makes that so clear that, why not? You want to do this? Go for it. So I love that. Can't wait.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man, so it looks like we have a one question here that was from, where could I find a bonsai tree in rural Alabama?
All right, folks, help
I don't
her
know.
out.
I'm not sure. I'm not familiar. Anybody from the Alabama area that would be able to figure that out?
Just remember, we can turn anything we want into a bonsai. Like I just said, that Robinson's telling you to do your own thing, and you get 10 people looking at a tree, and you get 15 different opinions. So you go to your nursery and find something that grows there that has a hard woody trunk and you can take care of, and order some trees from other areas possibly. But, anything that's growing there, you can bonsai it and try to apply some of those principles, and you'll have a cool tree, I would imagine, in no time.
That makes me ask a question for you, Billy. Do you ever do any yardadoris or yamadoris out in your area?
Yeah, I do have quite a few spruce that I'm growing. They're already bonsaified by the because the seeds grow everywhere, right? And so they have a bunch of saplings that grow in all the culvert ditches, and then they come by with that big mower and they chop them down, and they come back up the next year, chop them down, and come back up the next year. So I got some with some pretty gnarly trunks that I've dug out of the ditches there. But I've also got a couple of the trees that I planted out there, hoping that they survive. I got to learn with some of them. Like I have a dwarf mugo pine that I planted into an actual. This would be my second winter with it. The first winter I just buried it in a box to keep it protected. But last spring I put it in one of my garden beds, and I'm gonna try to get that thing nice and thick and try to prune it a couple times before I take it back out of the ground and put it into a pot. But I do try to do some ground growing with some of my stuff, if that's what you mean by yardadori. What do you call them? Everybody else calls them Tom Thumb. What's that plant called where it's got some really small leaves? It's usually a rock spray. Cotoneaster. The Cotoneaster. I've seen on some of the marketplace websites where people say, get this plant out of my yard, and I go dig them up and I try to grow it in my yard and I try to trim it back, and they got some pretty decent trunks to them. Some of them I just like them so much that I'm actually keeping them in the yard because they just look so nice. But some of them I'm trying to cut back and turn into bonsai. But like Dave, the DW was saying there, that it's a slow process, right? And if you try to rush it, sometimes you can really stress the tree out. So some of them I'm trying to cut back a little more slowly and just kind of let them back bud again, and then cut them back again, let them back bud again before I go heavy on the root ball down there and really turn them into a potted bonsai right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Cool. Well, does anybody out there have any more questions for Billy? Oh, well, we got something here. What do you got, Dave?
Well, I wanted to tell Martha, if you really want to get a pretty inexpensive tree and you can grow them almost anywhere in the world, go for your Portulacaria, man. I keep telling it to everybody. I just had a workshop yesterday. As a matter of fact, here is a pre-workshop tree straight and boring. And if you take cuttings and I mean, this tree right here is only about 5-6 years in training. And, it's starting to look a little bit more like a tree than just the stock you get, but you don't have to have a big tree. You don't have to babysit it every single day. You can let it go without watering for days and days on end. And so if you can get yourself a hold of a PA from Weigert's or anywhere else near your area, I think it would grow awfully well down there where it's warmer, a lot longer than Minnesota. So Martha, give those a try for sure.
Yeah, it looks like
cool.
So one thing about the PAs,
Yep.
I found out up here, they are a pretty tough tree, pretty bulletproof tree, but they do need to get some sunshine as well. So like I said, some of my windows, I don't get sunshine in them for a big chunk of the winter.
Yep.
My PAs start to suffer quite a bit, so I have to have a grow light or a grow tent to put them in during the winter time. So,
grow light for sure. I think in Alabama she'd be in good shape though, huh?
Fair enough.
Probably.
I think she would be, but don't be afraid of artificial lights. Wally said 100% ports, man. And if you want to see a good video, folks, on porch locarias, I'd like to get him on our show someday, Dave. If Gilbert Cantu would come up and talk with us from Corpus Christi, Texas. That's all he does is PA. So if you've not seen Little Jade Bonsai, you want to do jades, you want to do them well, and you want to do them down south, Gilbert Cantu does some really good stuff. He has a really good progression video where it shows like 7 years in a row and kind of like what starts as a cutting and then 7-8 years later. And just some good stuff from Gilbert. So check out Little Jade Bonsai if folks haven't checked out. Now, he's not done a ton of videos in the last few years with personal stuff in his life as well, but he does some workshops down there. And again, 100% ports is all he does. So he's a pretty good resource for PAs.
His Godfather tree is a pretty stinking amazing.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff for sure. So he's a graphic artist by trade, and I think, and something like that. And he good stuff for sure.
So yeah, I think Tom, by the way, asked a question there about when's the first day of spring up here.
Yeah.
That's tough to say. The frost date is late. The last frost date is like late June. So you got to be careful about frost all the way through mid-June, all the way to late June. Pretty much come July, you don't have to worry about frost anymore. But then by late August, you have to worry about frost again. So,
wow,
that gives you a good month and a half, 2 months of not having to worry about frost at all. But that is one of the challenges of growing some trees up here, because even during the times where you're not getting a frost, summer times, even in the middle of summer, in the middle of July, the nights get down to 40, 45 degrees, which is like 4 to 7 degrees Celsius, if I'm doing that right. So that's in the middle of summer. So some of the trees that really like things to be nice and warm, even those you have to keep inside in the winter time, in the summertime, or keep them in a window or have a greenhouse or something, which I don't have yet. In order to keep them warm enough to not try to go dormant on you at nighttime and then try to be alive during the daytime.
I heard yet. Do you hear that, everybody? He said yet.
I do have some plans. Your PSG have kind of inspired me on how to build my own greenhouse. It's not going to have because my frost line is over 10 feet down. So for me to get down below the frost line, it's going to be quite a bit of digging.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna try to do that with the air transfer.
Yep.
Basically, just have a lean-to roof, and then just have the front side of it be some glass windows, and put in a screen door that I can put the glass closed or opened on it, and plenty of ventilation so that it doesn't get too hot in the summertime. But something like that, what I plan to build. Not a full-on greenhouse. A full-on greenhouse wouldn't survive the winters up here. The snow gets too heavy, too deep. So you just break the glass.
Yeah. Well, if you can get that going, man, you're going to add at least a month to your growing season, a couple weeks on either end, I would imagine. So a month or so, and you'd be in good shape, man.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, Steve, we'll all come up and help you dig, man. I know someone who was ridiculous enough to dig an entire greenhouse airflow system. So, yeah, you're talking to the craziest of them all. But that would be fun. That would be fun.
Man. Cool.
Very cool.
Well, anybody else got any questions or anything for what's that?
I want to, before we let Billy go, if we're going to let him go here, we were about a half an hour in. I know there's been a lot of discussion, Dave. You were talking about a lot of discussion through some of the chats. I've been off of WhatsApp for a little while, so I'm really in the dark. But there's been some discussion again about soil. Is that right, Dave? So what people are using. And so before you go, Billy, you're up there in the tundra of all tundras, and you got, 6 weeks of summer and all the things you just shared and some bugs inside. But let's go to soil. Let's go deep into the well. What is the Bald Yeti use for soil?
So I'm not 100% on soil. And by the way, if this is just what works in my environment, what I found success with, I've tried a whole bunch of different things. I've listened to a whole bunch of different people, tried out what they've said. Some things work really well, some things don't work really well, but I think it's more to do with my climate. When my trees are still pretty young and I'm just trying to get some growth out of them, I pretty much use a hemlock bark mulch, and pumice is the biggest ingredients that I use.
Yeah.
I like the hemlock bark mulch. It's going to be just because it's readily available for me up here.
Yeah.
But there's spruce bark mulch and pine bark mulch. All of that is relatively the same. My buddy at the Bonsai Study Club, his last name is Powers. He did this whole study about which different elements that actually like soak up the nutrients. That like if you're using fertilizers, how much of them soak it up, and then how quickly and how efficiently it gives the nutrients back. Some of them just soaks up on the surface and then it washes right off the next watering. Some of them soak into the bark better, and then they slowly give it back off as it gets wet again the next time. He says hemlock bark mulch is one of the best ones. So and since it's so readily available, I mean, I just got to go to Ken's Garden Center and I just grab a 5-gallon bucket, and it cost me less than $10.
Nice.
So it's like just fill that up and then mix it with a bag of pumice, and you use about a 50-50 blend.
Nice.
And that's what I use for a lot of my outside trees. I like it because it holds enough moisture I get 24 hours of daylight in the summertime too, right?
Right.
So even if the tree's not necessarily in the direct sun where it's really soaking up a lot of water, there's still all that ambient light that's happening. And with that ambient light, it's still photosynthesis, so it's still drawing water, still using that water.
Sure.
So I like the fact that I need a little bit more of a moisture in my mix, just so that even at 11 o'clock at night when it's still sunny outside, that my trees have the ability to still have some water to come up, and I can't let them dry out. So so that's my main ingredients there. But I also use I get it from Bonsai Jack. Not trying to advertise for anybody, but I found that I like Bonsai Jack because you can say these are the ingredients I want, and these are the sizes that I want them, and they'll mix a bag and send it to you.
Yeah.
And it's relatively inexpensive, relatively being the operative word there.
Yeah, for sure.
But from him, my main mix from them is it's called Bonsai Block, which is essentially turfus, pumice, and black lava. And I know there's some arguments about lava rock. I don't find that my trees avoid the lava rock. I actually find that the roots are growing into the lava rock. Those are usually where I have to break the lava rocks off because the roots are growing into it. I don't know if that's the difference in environment, or maybe the rocks that I have don't have whatever chemical other people are talking about that it gives off. I don't know. I just know that the roots are actually growing into it. So that tells me that they must like it if they're not trying to avoid it. So so that's my those are my main two mixes. And even when I use the soil from Bonsai Jack that I get there, my bonsai substrate mix, which I use on most of my tropicals, by the way. Even with that, I mix a lot of it's usually I take that mix there, which is 30-30-30, and then I mix that 50% of that mix with 50% hemlock bark mulch, and that usually does me pretty well. And with that hemlock bark mulch, if I miss a watering, if I don't get it in the morning, I slept in a little bit and got to get out the door to work before I had a chance to water. Yeah. They're not typically dried out by the time I come home in the afternoon or the evening, and I can water again.
Yeah. How big is that bark? People were asking.
We might be able to find out.
I know in the Land and Gardens, Nate could confer with this too. He uses Doug fir bark, which is part of when you get orchid mixes. I think it's orchid. Orchid soil, whatever. That's also, I think, that Doug fir bark. So that's pretty good too, I understand. But I'd not heard of the hemlock bark, so that's cool to know.
Well, actually, I think all my buckets are out in the garage right now, so I don't have a bucket to show you. But there's a lot of gold painting that happens up in Alaska still, so I get a lot of the gold painting tools here that I screen my stuff with.
Nice.
I take the hemlock bark mulch. For the most part, it's less than a half an inch, but this will allow me to take all the bigger chunks out with the half-inch stuff here.
Nice.
And then I use the quarter inch, and I'm sorry that I'm American. I don't know how to put that into the metric system there. But this is quarter inch. This is a quarter inch that I screen it through as well. So anything bigger than a quarter inch goes through here, and then everything that's smaller than a quarter inch is what I use. Okay. Sometimes I'll throw some of the quarter inch stuff in there as well, just depending on how young the tree is. Main thing I kick out is the 1/2-inch stuff, just because that just puts big blocks in the soil. But if you kick out most of the 1/2-inch stuff, if the trees are pretty young, it doesn't really matter if it's between 1/4 and a 1/2 inch that I found anyways. It doesn't make that big of a difference because I'm just going for growth, right?
Yep.
And sometimes having those bigger chunks in there causes some air pockets, a lot more oxygen mixtures, and it allows things to grow pretty well for me. So for the most part, it's as I get refined, I try to get it between just under 1/4 inch, but bigger than 1/8 of an inch, because once it gets to that 1/8 inch, below 1/8 of an inch, it kind of starts getting compacted a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But anywhere between a 1/4 and an 1/8 is what I typically use for my more refined stuff. But anything less than a 1/2 inch is what I screen it out for just about every tree.
And I think I did a quick Google, and it seems like 1/4 inch equals to 6.35 millimeters. So just so we know out there.
Yeah, when I did my Bonsai Basics soil episode, I think, Billy, I translated it into millimeters for all those folks that use that. So we have to go and rewatch that because I don't remember that stuff. You kidding me? Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Billy. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk and hang out with the community and kind of feel a little bit closer. I'm up here in my own corner of the globe up here, kind of feel a little alone with my bonsai endeavors. So I love being able to get to know everybody else in the bonsai community. I have people out there making videos and what they're doing and what's working for them, and gives me some ideas of what I can try up here and what I should probably avoid up here. Shout out to Xavier with what he's doing with his Chinese elms. I've learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from you too, Dave Harding. And then, of course, I've been watching you since pretty much since day one, DW. So I learned a lot from you guys, and it's nice to be able to actually communicate with y'all and actually, just be live in front of you guys and have a conversation with you. It's been a lot of fun for me.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's been a blast chatting with you. So, and everybody go out to stay warm up there. Everybody, make sure you check out his channel, Bald Yeti. Just search on YouTube. YouTube.com/Bald Yeti.
There you go. So,
yeah.
All right, man. Cool.
All right, Billy.
Awesome.
We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
We'll see you, Billy. And with that in mind, and I just want to throw this out there just because I want to get a lot of feelers out there for the future. And I talked about this with Dave after we shot our last live performance here, but I want to talk about the Bonsai Expo from last year just for a brief moment. And a lot of people love that. We had people stay the whole 9 hours and 16 minutes, which was phenomenal and crazy and hard to believe. But I threw it out there to Dave, and I when I talk, if people watch my Bonsai Acres videos, I often say when I'm going to have y'all up here, and I don't know how many people know or really appreciate how serious I am when I can't wait to have y'all up at Bonsai Acres. And so I'm just hopeful in a couple of years that I literally will throw out the invite to anyone that wants to come. Now, from across the pond, I can appreciate that that's going to be a little bit more tricky. But if I get Steve coming out from New York, Long Island area, if PA people want to come visit me, if Nate comes on over from Washington, see if I can get the Bald Yeti down from Alaska, and everybody in between, I just want this in the back of your mind. I really would love to have a BYC live and in person and not live on StreamYard sometime in the future. So put that all in the back of your minds, and maybe in a couple of years from now, maybe 2028 is the year that some of my friends here in this community, we can plan an event where we all can hang in the upper Midwest up at Bonsai Acres or near and around and have some things to do around bonsai. So just wanted to plug that and get people's brains just like, gosh, could we actually make that happen? So there you go.
That would be amazing. Getting everybody together like that would be epic. That would be awesome.
Well, it was my original vision until someone, when I was watching a premiere at Nigel's, I threw it out there then, and I said, "Hey, anybody want to get together and do a bonsai kind of expo type thing?" And someone said, "Well, why don't you do it online?" And so I did. So the first one I did online, it was last year. We had fun, huge response. And I know it's expensive and people have families and it's time away from family. And it could be a really long, fun weekend to get away to come to Bonsai Acres or something like that. But I think this community is so cool and so supportive of each other that I would love to have, even if it was 6 people the first year or 60. I just think it'd be a lot of fun, Dave.
That would be epic. I'd be down for that. Well, we're gonna make it happen.
And Steve's bringing the beer. So, okay, there's our first plans right there. Steve's got the beer. I'm going to write that down, and that's going to stick.
And no we got
no sapsicles.
I'm not sure. Wait, I don't know. Am I missing? What's a sapsicle?
Tom has asked me about 5 or 6 times this year after my videos up at Bonsai Acres if there's any sapsicles yet. So as the maples start to probably start moving now in parts of the country, they'll be making some maple syrup, I'm sure. But if some of the trees leak their sap throughout the year and it's cold, it might leak out of the tree and then freeze and make a sapsicle. And I suppose you can just lick it until your heart's content.
Okay, that's not too bad. We got Wally's asking, saying charge admission and mission price a bonsai starter. Ooh.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to charge admission per se, because I would just want people to travel out there, and that's expense enough. But yeah, and what I would love to have people do is, if they're interested, is those who, of course, it'd be hard to get the Treadio sometime in the future, but come to the property and tag a tree. And that'll be part of your journey. Tag a tree, and then we'll dig that thing up some spring and get it down to you, or up to you, or across to you. So, yeah,
maybe some workshops or something. That could be really cool. I'd be down for that.
I think it would be. There's a lot of expos out there, and there's a lot of people do this professionally. And I just think this YouTube community, we could keep it on the low, but still have some workshops, or have some, some of us, who want to do a demo or something. I just think it'd be so much fun if we got together up at Bonsai Acres. It would be a huge dream of mine come true. So I'll stop. I'll get off my pedestal, and we can go with other questions now. But I hope it happens someday.
We got our fingers crossed. We'll make it happen.
That's right. The hemlock and fir are doing very well, by the way, Nate. Everything is looking really good.
That's good. What did Steve say? I want BA large, Dave W.
There you go. Nice. I'm going to get those larches in tune this spring, man. It's going to be going.
What's crazy? A larch is on my list of one of the trees that I do not have at the moment.
Well, we're going to tag one for you too, then, Dave.
There you go. Yeah, I've yet to pick one up.
There you go. Everybody who attends, then, right now, let's mark this down. Should we type it in to make it official? Everyone who attends the expo live at Bonsai Acres in 2028 or thereafter is going to get a larch tree from the property.
Ooh, exclusive.
So you will get a large tree that I put in the ground and try to get fat and thick for you in a couple of years in the ground, and you get to tag it and bring it home. I can put some wire on some to give them some movement, and then you can follow your journey of your tree on my channel, and then I'll dig it up and ship it to you a couple of years later.
Well, you know what it could be? I could be in Pennsylvania. I'll pick up Steve in Long Island. We'll get Tom in Chicago. Pick everybody up along the way.
There you go.
Make a big road trip out of it.
That's right, man. Make it the bonsai train, and even if you have to rent a car, or if someone has a big enough car, get 6 of you in there and just come across the country, man.
Oh man.
Just think of the content we'd have for YouTube with all that footage. You guys could all have your cameras on, and it could be one smorgasbord, man.
Oh man, do it for the content. Well, we got Tom says, any dawn redwoods and Bonsai Acres are too cold for them. Well, I guess would they be growing? Do you have any over there?
I've seen a dawn redwood in people's yards in the metro area. I don't know about up north in Bonsai Acres territory. I don't know. Someone else out there would have to tell me. He just said too that in Alaska they've been growing. I know in Alaska they grow, Dave, and that's from Tom. Okay. So if they grow in Alaska, I probably could grow them at Bonsai Acres. I've not tried that.
Well, I guess dawn redwoods they thought they were extinct for many years, right? Isn't that the one where somebody found them in the early 1920s? I think. Am I remembering this right?
Yeah, I don't know. Anybody else can help us with that, but maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if they would just randomly pop up. But let's see, we got. I've seen the biggest DRs I've ever seen right here on Long Island. Oh, I think I saw the video that you posted of that. That's a beauty.
Much milder climate than Minnesota, though. That's for sure.
Oh, we got Steve says yes in China in the 30s. Yeah, super interesting story.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool.
Let's see. Anybody else got any other questions? I mean, we were talking about soil earlier. I know my soil mix is a 40% perlite, 40% calcined clay, and about 20%, maybe a little bit less, of orchid bark.
Orchid bark, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
and it's just the pretty much the Nigel Saunders mix that I've been using. So, and it's worked pretty well for me.
I love how Michael Hagedorn talked in his book Bonsai Heresy about the soil debate and some of the maybe the fancier, more expensive with akadama and things in the soil, which I still use a lot of. You know, it's good for later on in the tree's life when it's in that ramified state and a little bit older and more mature. But, you know, he also says pretty clearly in his book, it's like, I had the quote on my Bonsai Basics episode on soil, but he's basically, again, you can kind of grow bonsai in almost anything, right? I mean, all these concoctions we're hearing from people, whatever you have access to, make it work. I tell all the people to workshops, just make sure that you know how the tree holds moisture, like Bald Yeti was saying. You got some of this pine bark, a little bit bigger pieces. The part that holds more nutrients and water might be better for certain trees, and and ones that need a little bit more water, a little drier. And all these elements will work in your bonsai soil as long as, in my opinion, you know how fast it dries out. So you know how to water and take care of your tree. And if I'm using akadama, pumice, and lava rock, which is what a lot of the pros were using for years, 30-30-30, or a third, I should say. Yeah, you can throw in some pine bark in there. You can throw in some sphagnum moss. You can add a little turfus in there. What the heck? Make it cheaper for yourself, right? As long as you know how wet that soil is going to be for your tree, we should be able to find a concoction that works. So cocoa coir, you can throw a little cocoa coir in your mix just to it'll keep it a little bit more organic, and then keep that moisture level a little bit higher for some of those moisture-loving trees.
There was one person that Tom from Growing Clip Bonsai for Seniors told me about, is Brian Batchelder, who used only sphagnum moss, 100% sphagnum moss. I think that he had like a TV show in the early 90s, I think it was. And
wow.
Just using 100% sphagnum moss, a lot of tropicals and stuff. But yeah, you can use anything, right?
As long as you know how that tree is taken up with water and how fast it dries out, you can do your thing for sure. Very cool.
Looks like we got Patricia here as well now.
Hey, Patricia. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're at, let's see, 52 minutes right now. Let's see. Oh wait, we got here. Ants seem to mine the cocoa core. It's crazy. Gotcha. Oh, that's Bald Yeti.
Yeah.
And
drainage holes. Yeah. Drainage holes have to be big. Yeah. And some of those ones that hold more moisture. Yeah. Who was talking about the wicking recently? You guys know the wicking technique, where you have a rope that hangs out of the bottom of your bonsai pot, and that sits in a bucket of water, and it slowly wicks up water and keeps your pot from dehydrating in the middle of summer. Have you ever heard of that method, Dave?
I think that was Steve that was talking about that, but I have not tried that yet.
Yeah, Jack Weichel did that in Michigan. So his kitchen area, where they have all the trees, before they go out to the display area, they had a couple of wicking. They had some pots with some rope that you could dangle in water, and then it just soaks it right up into the pot and keeps things moist.
I wonder if you could use like a shoelace, like if you have an old pair of shoes, like do you think like a shoelace, depending on like the material?
I think it'd be a similar concept. Someone said here that Nigel has some trees with wicks. Yeah. Steve said it works. Backyard Bonsai Steve. So yeah, it's Patricia used that too. So it's interesting, so if people are looking for a trick to keep some of their trees, if they have a couple of good ones and they're going on vacation and you don't have this automatic sprayer in your house or something, a wick would be a good solution, I would think. Yeah. Interesting. A lot of neat little tricks, little hacks out there.
There's one thing I wanted to show. I know we were talking about it a little bit earlier, but I have my kiwi here that is just waking up. Oh my gosh. I had a kind of a question for you guys. Do any of you out there have a kiwi? Because I grew this one from seed, and I know it has the really large leaves, and I've never repotted it. And I was curious if you guys have had any issues with repotting. I have like little fertilizer there that I believe I got from you. Was it Wildwood?
Wildwood,
is that right?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a little bit afraid to do a repot on this one. So any of you in the chat, you guys have you had any experience with kiwis? Not exactly the best bonsai, because I haven't noticed I think Marisol has one, but I haven't asked her if she's repotted that one yet. So
I have to bear some bad news, everybody. I just saw the question from Dave Stott. Guess what, Dave? My triangularis bit the dust. I did a little too much on it. It's never given me a problem, Dave. And you kept saying all yours died. And after I put it in that beautiful pot, guess what? Boom. Just went downhill fast, and it croaked. So I should have waited until summer with that guy, or another year or something. I don't know. But sad state of affairs. That was one of my biggest losses here in the last 6 months. I'm really bummed that that one was starting to take shape, and it would have been pretty cool, I think, in a couple more years.
Did you save any cuttings or anything from it, or?
I did not. It was losing leaves, and I never repotted some of the cuttings from the last time I did some trims on it, and all I really did was repot it this last time around. So I didn't do a lot of cuttings. So I didn't stress it out that much, I didn't think. But there you go. You just never know on bonsai.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, did you learn anything from it? I always try to get a silver lining whenever any of my trees die. Like, what did I learn from this experience?
It's a good question. It's funny. I was just watching the Land and Garden interview with Dan Robinson and Ryan Neal. And if you want to hear some controversy, listen to what he does with his repotting, or lack thereof repotting. So it's a very interesting interview. Nate knows all about it, I'm sure. But yeah, did I repot that one too soon? Probably. Did I repot at the right time of year? Probably not. Yeah, just the patience of bonsai, and sometimes just letting things grow. Just let them go and you thicken up. And, trees in pots for 3 to 4 to 5 years, maybe not bad. We tell people in workshops, we generally repot every 2 to 3 years. But, I don't know. When do you yeah. And so sometimes, Dave, I think I just I love my trees to death. Sometimes I want to do too many things to them. And every time we touch a tree, remember, it stresses it out. Anytime we touch it, anytime we cut it, anytime we repot it, anytime, we're stressing out the tree a little bit. And so maybe that one, I just, the transition into an apartment, the harder water, and then I repotted, and so I just let it alone. Didn't have a full year in here. So yeah. Maybe the lesson still is to just really look at the tree harder and longer and say, should I touch it right now, or should I just wait a little longer?
Gotcha. Put the scissors down, Dave, right?
Put the scissors down, Dave.
It looks like we have a couple answers to my question about the kiwi. It looks like Marisol, you know what? I think I did see a video pop up. I got to watch that of her.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. And then Steve says to dive in, Dave.
Dive in and repot it, buddy.
All right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. Oh, man. Oh, we got Bonsai Boise here, who was on the last video. Hey, what's going on? Awesome.
Hello, Bonsai Boise. Good to see you again, our guest from last month. Incidentally, Absolutely. If someone's got some really cool things to share, hit us up. We'll get you on the show.
Yep. Send an email over to bonsaiacres@gmail.com or mine at dreamingofbonsai. So, yeah. Who do you do? Speaking of which, who should we have on next, guys?
Who should there's a strong push. I know he's still with us. There's a strong push to get Tom on here. So, Tom from Grow and Clip Bonsai from Senior, I know you can hear us. I know you can read the texts, I think. And somehow, your face, your voice, we need to get Tom onto this show here before the end of 2026 for sure. How about that?
Yeah, maybe we can figure it out as maybe even just a phone call and have some of your trees up on video. Hey,
that's right. We can make it work, Dave. Dave and I can make it work, Tom. We can get your voice on a phone call, and we can have pictures to show people, and we'd love to hear from you, my friend.
Very cool. Well, we're just about at an hour, unless there's anything else anybody wants to say.
I think Lee's going to go and leave us to go to Nigel's for his premiere. So maybe it's time for us to shut down.
Maybe it is. So
nice new logo, by the way, Lee. And that logo tree turned out really nice. Kudos to your work there, Lee.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is a good little chat here. We had Billy the Bald Yeti on. learn some more stuff about him. And yeah, it's always a pleasure, Dave.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for hosting today, Dave. And yeah, we'll pick a date for March, huh?
Sounds good to me. We'll figure it out. I know we don't have anything set at the moment, but everybody out there, keep an eye out for it. So
hey, I just thought of something that it might be incredibly hard to organize. Nate,
okay.
Are you still out there, Nate? And when I'm out there on the Sunday, the 22nd of March, what if we broadcast live on the Sunday, the 22nd of March, and Nate will be our guest speaker, and I'll be there right along with him.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I like that idea.
I don't know what Nate's got planned for me when I'm there. We got a couple things we want to do, but maybe we do that on March 22nd or whatever that is, about a month from right now. Oh, boy.
Okay, cool. We'll see if we can make that happen.
We'll run that up the tree and see what he thinks.
Awesome. I dig it. I'm for it. Let's do it.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, Dave. Great night. You too. You all stay safe out there. And yeah, everyone have a good night. Thanks again, Dave. Bonsai on, everybody. All right. Have a good night.